2. You're listening to the Gettin' Salty Experience podcast.
Away we go. Welcome back. Look at Ruffy, all decked out in some kind of paraphernalia there. Welcome back to the Gettin' Salty Experience podcast, the only one in the whole wide world that brings the firehouse, kitchen table, and all the shenanigans that goes with it to you. Yep. Self-proclaimed number one podcast in the whole galaxy.
Yep. The best.
What's better? I don't know. Never heard of another podcast.
Oh, and we're just tickled pink.
There's more than one podcast.
We've invented
the Rangers won. We're tickled pink.
Oh my God!
Oh my word!
No, they didn't win.
They destroyed.
They dominated.
They dominated.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if you know he's the number one goalie in the world. I don't know if you know that supposedly he's the best on the earth. That's
what's
the
guy. Goalie.
Vasilevsky. Yeah. That guy that they were doing this all night. Oh, Vasilevsky. Oh, he's the best. Oh, he's the greatest.
We love Shishirkin. How do you say
he goes better.
All I want to know, all I want to know is that they win already. So, because I can't be over here
Oh no, it's every day.
Tell us how it hurts, Lou. Tell us if everything's okay.
Oh, it's great.
Okay?
I slept like a rock last night.
You did.
A rock.
You
Tomorrow,
you probably so many F-bombs through. You were exhausted.
Oh my God, Ferraro, all the guys, because you know what it is. The Ranger announces. It's not on MSG. It's on ESPN. So you get all these other guys there. You know, Valesky. The Tampa Bay. Screw that shit.
All right. Well, we got that going on for us.
I'm glad I got that out.
Well, wait, another thing that you missed when we were in the pre-show, I put Louis on, and not only me, about 1 million people told Louis that he's got to watch Yellowstone. So it's time, Lou. You got to watch Yellowstone. Man.
I'm busy. I can't watch it. I'm watching Stranger Things. Maybe after that, I'll tune over to Yellowstone.
You're watching the new season of Stranger Things or the whole season? The new one.
It's
good. It's good.
Yeah.
Creepy. I like it.
So I told Louis that
Yellowstone.
I told Louis the story. So I went for my World Trade Center medical the other day, right?
What happened?
Nothing. So I go to the medical, and at the end, I tell the doctor, and this is the quality of doctors.
Doc, I'm having a hard time making friends.
Doc, I got that. Yeah.
You fucking cocksucker.
You fucking douchebag. So I said, "Hey, Doc, listen, I've been in a lot of pain in my both ears. I opened up the pool last week, went in the pool, and ever since that, I tried to get the water out, and I snapped a Q-tip off of my ear, so that didn't help. I said, it's killing me. I feel pressure. I feel like I'm dizzy." So he said, look in your ear. No problem. Gets the thing out, looks in my ear. He goes, ooh, yeah, I don't really know what that is. Like, you better.
What?
Maybe you should. He goes, maybe you should go to a specialist. That's
what you want to hear from a doctor.
Yeah.
Act like a man.
What's the matter with you?
What's the matter with you?
So I said, well, that's bad. So on the way home, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? Let me just stop by the first med and take a look at it. So the doctor don't even come in. The PA comes in, right? She comes in. She gets the thing. She looks. She goes, oh, wow. She goes, you got
all 6 weeks of
She gets 6. She goes, oh, you got double ear infection in the left ear, the eardrum and the canal. And the right ear, you got it in the canal. So you have a double ear infection and a single ear infection.
One and a single.
Yeah. So that's the quality of the doctors. He's looking at something like he's looking at I don't know, like ECM squared, MC squared, the fuck that is. I don't know what it is. He's looking at the theory of relativity.
First of all, I'm gonna let you know, like right now, I'm just gonna let you know, Superman doesn't get, he doesn't get bogged down by ear infections. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
you can't be throwing the shirt on with Superman if
They ask me how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
Good one, Petey. He's coming back. He's coming back.
Back to life. You know how we drag him right down. We just talk about the free vacation. Right down the shitter he goes, bro. Right down the toilet. Toilet he goes. Yeah.
You didn't think it was going to come. How fun! How great was that story?
That guy with the Tiger Wall.
Hey, everyone, if you like Philly, everyone go back to the last episode where we had Eric Allen on, and he was mauled by a freaking tiger.
No, legit. In his mouth, carrying him around.
Yeah.
Carrying him around and slams him into the fence because his brother was a
thing in the
tiger
headlock,
handler.
right? And he said he took a chunk out of his
his thigh.
His thigh.
That guy runs into burning buildings and
he got mauled by a tiger.
And he tames lions.
Yeah.
And he's like an inventor and shit, you know, like he's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So
I'm
just gonna let you know that guy's not rucking around either. You know,
no, he's not rucking. He's not right. He doesn't need any rucking. He took out a tiger. He grabbed the tiger by a tail.
I dare Jeremy from National Fire Radio to top that one, bro. Tiger mauler and a firefighter. I dare you top that one.
How about MC? MC ain't got he don't have no tiger.
He ain't got no tiger maulers. MC, nope.
No, but you know what? MC's probably gonna get this guy next.
Oh my god!
He
might be a wild show. I'll tell you that.
Man.
Oh my god! So all right, so you're down and out. You got the Z pack. I'm on a Z pack. Everybody's Z packing. What's going on around here, man?
But
Coobs, hold on. So Coobs says at the beginning of the show we're talking to the chief, backstage, and he's like, "What do you got to drink? What are you drinking? Oh, what do you drink?" Coobs like, "Oh, I can't drink. I'm on antibiotics for my ears." Superman, right? So he's like, "Yeah, you can." So Pete says, "Well, why can't you have a little drink?"
Just a little bit.
And he says, "Well, what are you talking about? Like, you can't. It affects the antibiotics
efficacy." Yeah.
Yeah. So I go, you sure about that? He goes, "Yeah, I think." I go, "No, you think or you know?" He's like, "I don't know." So Pete looks it up. Of course, he's got it all wrong. So he runs up the stairs, and as he's running up the stairs to go get a drink, Pete reads the definitions and it says, "This will not affect your antibiotics." Blah blah blah. Coobs is like, "Pew!" He's out of the room, and then there's like a little asterisk. Oh, and by the way,
it could flare up the side effects.
You didn't get that part, Coobs.
Dude, I'm up there telling my wife.
I said you ran off to get a drink like a man.
No, you're fine. You're fine. No, listen. What I'm saying is, if you're shitting your pants, like I shat my pants the first day I did the Z pack because it's a double dose. But if you're doing that, it might have.
I took it up first. It did nothing. You know why?
You're Superman.
Because you're John Cena.
Oh,
look at Petey pumping him out. Yeah. I don't know what that is, but
can't see me. All right. Well, you know what? We're screwing around.
We love Philly so much. We got another guy on.
Back to back
Philly guys. But before we get to that, Pete, you got to do all your magic there. Work all your magic. Do it.
Real quick tonight, boys. You guys know the deal. GettinSaltyApparel.com. That's how we pay the bills around here. Stuff that you can buy like T-shirts and hats and hoodies and shot glasses and pint glasses and like partner saw, cigar cutters and stickers and you name it. It's all there at GettinSaltyApparel.com. So if you have a firefighter friend or family in your life, head on over to GettinSaltyApparel.com. Get them a gift. It's awesome. Good stuff. Also, guys, if you absolutely positively have a question, you have to ask us. Hit us up in the super chat. Or if you just want to throw us a few shekels in the super chat, you guys are our number one sponsors. That's how we really pay the bills around here. The super chat's great. It helps us out a lot. Anything you want to throw our way is always appreciated. And that, my friends, is all.
Wow, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna send some swag to my brother-in-law Lou Gamorano. He watches every night. Love the guy. Not even a fireman. Here's a little toast for my brother-in-law Lou. Has been in the family for 50 years. Who doesn't love him? We're gonna send him some swag so he can represent. Send pictures in. That's what we're gonna do. That'll be the next segment on Trump and Joe. Where in the world is Louis?
Guys.
Where's the world is Louis Gam? That's what we're gonna do. He's got a shirt. He's got to wear his shirt. He's got to wear his shirt. And different places that he goes.
Right.
Where in the world is Louis Gam? That's what.
Right. Is he always traveling? Is that what goes on?
He just came back from Greece.
Yeah. All right.
He went to visit the daughter.
His daughter. She lives in Greece now. Yep.
Now
he lives up on a plantation farm up there. He bought a big old mansion and a yacht. Elmer J.
That's how to do it.
Yeah. All right. Listen. Let's get to our guest because we're
sleeping back there, Pete. Take a look.
No, he's dead. He died while we were
not available for overtime.
He's not dead.
We got another Italian. We got another Italian from Philly. I messed up his name like 52 times already. So it's Robert John Marchisello. Marcello.
No, Marchisello. For crying
Did it
out
again,
loud, Chief.
It's
My
not Mark.
God.
It's not. Oh, it is Marchisello.
Marchisello.
I fucked
You
it up
son
again.
of
I
a-
knew I would.
You son of a bitch, a dirty bitch.
Welcome
up,
to the
Chief?
show,
How are you?
Chief.
All right. Hey, yo, how you doing?
Oh,
Forget about it,
Tootie.
Tootie.
Yeah.
Hey, Tootie. Whoa, Tootie.
Yeah,
You can act like a man.
Listen, me and Pete love him because not only did he number and list his
Oh, my
pictures
God.
in order, his time,
Oh, my
the
God.
whole show. All I got to do is read off this list he gave us. I don't even.
So
get
he
to
has
know
surpassed. He has surpassed
who.
Captain Calamari. He surpassed Chief Kilduff.
Oh.
And who else was it? There was one more who had everything like perfectly numbered. There was another guest.
I mean, mostly the Chiefs. They're the
Yeah,
ones who have it
those are
all
top guys.
straightened out. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I mean,
thank you,
I-
Chief. Thank you.
I'm in a lucky they can write for crying out loud. You got to wait. This guy's putting it all.
Neanderthal.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Speak softly and carry a big stick.
Yeah. Yeah, we got the
All right.
what do you call it? Thumb. Yeah, the opposable thumbs. The fine.
They lack the opposable thumbs, Greg.
Me hungry.
All right, but listen, we got to get patriotic before Susie loses her panties over there, bro. You don't
All
want
right.
Susie
Well,
to lose her
please don't do that, Susie. Tonight I
Oh.
wanted to share something special, actually.
Oh.
The other last week
Chief
we had.
DiBernardo was the other one. That's correct. Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry, Pete.
No worries. Last week we had my sons had a concert. So one was playing the violin, the other playing the double bass and singing in the chorus and all that stuff. And my son, of course, was asked to give and deliver the Pledge of Allegiance at the concert. So I figured I would. I
like it.
Which
yeah,
one?
See?
You know what I'm saying?
Which guy?
Miles.
I thought for sure it would be Augie, bro.
No,
I
it
thought
was
for
Miles, Mr. Confidence. Here he goes.
All right,
Ladies
do
and
it.
gentlemen, the Pledge of Allegiance a la Miles Zivkovic. Boom.
Good evening. Welcome to Vanderbilt's 2022 Spring Concert. Our names are Miles Zivkovic and Eileen Howe. We would like to ask all of you to stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
That's it, baby.
Yep, that's it.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Thank you, and please be seated. There
Nice.
it is.
Got him
Great
early.
job,
Hey,
Miles,
man.
baby. Good job.
Yeah,
bro.
listen, man.
What does
That
he
was
play?
like, he plays the violin, you know?
Oh, so does my son.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you played it well, that would be even better.
Actually, Pete, there is a
Love
big
it.
jump between 4th and 5th grade, Pete.
Oh, yeah?
So- oh my God, it's like you can actually sit there and listen to it between 4th and 5th grade because
Yeah. No, I heard because the 5th grader played and it was really good, but he plays the piano really well, actually.
You know, all his friends are going to call him when he's 18, right?
what's that?
Uh-oh.
No.
Miles Long.
Oh, but
All right, and yes, Joe Malaga in the chat. No one kneeled at that one. That's right. The whole place was up.
All right, listen. Let's get to the word of the day before we jump into Chief Manjano's timeline.
Oh my God, I'm nervous. All right, well, you know this is a Philly themed week.
I don't even know what it is. You guys didn't even tell me, so I'll be surprised.
It's a Philly themed week, and ladies and gentlemen, the word of the day in this Philly themed week is Flyers really suck. Last one was Flyers suck. Today is the Flyers really suck. Sorry, Chief.
I'll take the blame on that one, Chief. I had to do it.
Yep. All righty. All right, Chief. I would like to say let's start asking you questions, but you already wrote out all my questions, so I'm just going to dive right into your timeline. So we're going back. This you talk about salty. This guy's got. We're going back to 1950 and your early interest in the fire service, when a fire what does it say? Fire truck factory across the street from our apartment when you were 2 years old.
Yep, garment factory.
A what factory?
Garment.
Oh, garment factory. Where is this? Where'd you grow up? In Philly itself? Outside of Philly? Where were you?
In South Philly, like right in the heart of South Philly.
Oh, Philly guy through and through. I like it. What, your dad? Nobody in the on the family was a fireman, or just
No, I had no relatives in the fire department, but when that factory caught on fire, my father swooped me up, carried downstairs. We stood on the top stoop, and I seen ladder 11 coming down the street. At the time, there were a single house, and I could see the glow inside the factory, the smoke swirling around, and I had a perfect view on my father's shoulders. And just as engine 24 turns a corner, and they hook up to the hydrant right on the pavement of our house. And I was amazed by the coordination. Like within 5 minutes, they had that place laddered, vented, and the fire was out. And I knew nothing about the fire service other than the excitement that it generated. And the applause that they got when it was over, because a lot of people in the neighborhood worked there and they saved their work.
Oh, wow. So it was love at first sight for you right
That's
there.
unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that actually hits a little bit differently. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people in the neighborhood worked at that place, so the neighborhood needed that place, and here come the brothers to save it, and there they are applauding for them. I mean, that's better than I'm sorry, Louis, but it's better than the Rangers and the Flyers put together.
Oh,
you know what I mean? That's unbelievable.
We're talking about 1950 here, ladies and gentlemen. 1950 goes back. And you said engine 24, right? You said so. We'll have to get to that bit later on in your timeline, right?
Yeah, they pulled. I didn't even know there was an engine 24 because I always used to see ladder 11 go up and down the street.
All right, so you say
17th Street and boom.
So 55 to 61, you chase fire engines, meaning what? On your bike with a little baseball card and the spokes?
We really couldn't afford a bicycle back then.
You were running. We were always running, Jenny.
Right.
You were just running.
Jenny.
One of my friends and I, we were fire buffs, little fire buffs, and we would chase fire engines. As soon as we were old enough to leave the neighborhood, we chased fire engines throughout South Philly.
Really? And what was the closest firehouse to you? Ladder 11?
It was ladder 11 and eventually became engine 10 and ladder 11 when they closed. They merged into a single firehouse for both of them.
So you go to fast forward to 71, you said laid off drafting job, and you had some renewed interest in the fire service. So what were you doing? What is a drafting job? What were you doing?
Well, when I hit about 13 or 14, going back a little bit, I decided it was more fun to chase girls than to change fire truck.
Amen.
Amen.
Lying. Yeah.
He ain't lying.
Yeah.
And the whole becoming a firefighter thing went dormant. And I eventually did a couple different jobs and wound up as a design draftsman. And when I got laid off, I didn't know what the hell I was going to do.
Mm.
And I went around the corner, and there comes Lou the fireman, lived up the block. And it was like a mule kicked me in the ass. Why didn't I pursue being a fireman? That's what I wanted to be when I was a kid.
Huh.
That's when I decided to start the process to try to get the job.
Nice, Chief. Nice.
So you started in 1971, right? You applied to take the entrance test, and you took it when?
72.
72, but you joined what is the Philadelphia Reserve Fire Force? They had a volunteer in the city?
That was interesting because when I was trying to get on, I was trying to do everything I can to get on the job. And I found out about this Reserve Fire Force. And here it was a holdback from World War II when they needed manpower because all the firemen were in the Army and Navy, Air Force. And they had a backup corps in just about every firehouse full of volunteers in case Philadelphia got bombed or something like that. They wanted a good civilian cadre to back them up. And that kind of like held over after the war was over. And that volunteer organization was still there when I went in. They ran out of an old firehouse in North Philly, Engine 15's old station. They used to handle Engine 81. And we would go in one night a week for training. They trained me. I became a reserve firefighter. And we responded to extra alarms. And at that time, the city was burning up. You know, Philadelphia, New York, Baltimore, Boston, we all had our versions of the war years. And it made a lot of extra alarm fires with the reserves before I got on the job. But we were pretty much restricted to outside duties, stretching in. And the companies loved to see us because...
You'd hump hose, pack hose, right?
There we go, yep.
But you guys actually had a rig, right? You responded with a rig.
No,
Oh, you didn't?
The rig was for training. I mean, they taught us how to be pump operators and everything else. But the rig stayed at the firehouse, and we went right to the scene. We had fire radios and scanners and that sort
Oh,
of
just like the volleys, you'd go right to the scene, and
Yep.
they give you gear and a helmet and the whole 9 yards, or
We had old beat up stuff that was being phased out. Yeah,
hey, that counts. You had the roll up boots and the rubber coats.
we had the hip boots and the rubber coats. Yes.
Chief, is that still there today?
Now the union had filed a complaint, and they were disbanded in the '80s, sometime early '80s.
Did all those volleys back then? Did they think that the Flyers really sucked?
Oh yeah.
Hey!
It was back
Cheers,
then, before 1975 and '76 when I went to the
Oh, so
stand.
they won the cup. That's right. They won the cup. Bobby Clark was
Wow.
one of my favorite guys, man. He was such a tough bastard. I love that guy. But they always used to beat up the Rangers all the time. The broad, what they used to call them, the Broad Street Bullies or
Bullies.
something like the Bullies.
Broad
Yeah.
Street Bullies, Dave Schultz.
Dave Schultz, all of those guys. They were tough son of a bitches, man.
So I guess you learned a lot, though, right? Before you got on the job, running around with the reserves.
Yeah, it was a good learning experience. You know, got to know a lot of the tools and equipment before I even got into fire school, which was a big help. But it didn't do anything to help me get on the department. The department was strictly civil service. But
Right. Did you guys have a kitchen in there too and operate like as a firehouse? Did you make meals in there or anything?
yeah, they did.
Oh, so
Tuesday night was their training night, and once training was done, they opened up the kitchen canteen and sold candy and stuff like that. Sometimes they cooked a meal.
So you got a little bit of flavor of the culture then, right?
And we even we used to ride around in North Philly with our Engine 81, which is an old auto car or one of those old apparatus with the open cab hanging off the back step. And that's where all the fires were in Philadelphia at that time. So we ride around hoping that we could steal something off of the
Nice.
mines, because they were like the busiest companies in the city at the time.
Did you have hose on it too? Everything?
Oh yeah, we were fully equipped because at an extra alarm or something, and the city was depleted, they could actually staff that thing.
Yeah.
Never happened when I was there, but yes.
That's pretty
Did
cool.
did most of those guys end up getting on the job at some point? Everybody who was in there in the volleys?
I know of 3 of us that got on. Some of them did not want to get on. It was just like a hobby to them, and they loved it,
Right.
poured their heart and soul into it. But some were like me, that we tried our best. And there's one that's still out there, Charlie Klink, made chief like I did.
And did you was there any firehouses that you actually used to buff out in or hang out in?
When I was a kid, I buffed out an Engine 10, ladder 11,
Right.
Engine 60, and ladder 19.
Did you ride with them at all? They allow you to ride with them?
No. Most closest we got was going to the store for them to get them ice cream or sandwiches or something.
Oh, we say ice cream.
Allegedly.
Ice cream.
Oh, that's what they call it at those back in those days.
Philly.
and Philly. Yeah. Square box, however you want to say it. So you take the entrance exam in 72, right?
Yep.
In June, and then you get notified that quickly in September. You were number 221 on the high. 221 out of how many?
It was like 16,000 or something like that.
Wow, so you scored well. Good for you, Chief. Nice.
I studied my behind off.
Well, that's pretty apparent because as we go through your timeline, you were either number 6, number 10. So you meant business, right? You might as well, right? But you took the police test as a backup plan?
Yeah, I mean, just in case the fire thing didn't come through. And I was actually called for the police first, and I was going through the process of being hired when I got the letter to take my physical for the fire department.
And you were like this, right? You're
we
like,
have
oh, look.
pic, right?
I'm sorry, say again?
A police pick.
We
have
quit.
a
Oh,
picture
yeah.
of him with-
Yes.
I do. This looks like a PD photo.
Oh, look at that young buck, bro. There's some busting some jaws there, that guy.
The
That's my
rookie,
first
it
Christmas.
says.
First Christmas on night shift.
Yeah,
Oh,
of course. Young guy, right? Young rookie.
Right?
You got
Yeah.
Christmas, punk ass.
Now here's a Billy Club. Go do something.
Yeah, go do something. Here's a Motorola.
Oh my God.
Oh, they didn't have the Motorola's.
What did they give you? A little six shooter revolver back then? A police special?
I never made it into the police department.
Oh, okay. I got
This
you.
is a fire department picture.
Oh, that's a fire picture.
Yeah.
In my hat there.
Ah, I thought this looks like a
That's a
PD
Maltese
photo.
crew.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it is. It is. Hold on. There it is. Yep. You're right.
That looks like a PD hat, though, right?
It does. I thought it was a PD.
No, we
and
don't
it's a
have
blue
those,
shirt.
those higher caps like you have in the FDNY.
Yeah.
Ours were kind of like the police caps. Yes.
You have those yellow helmets that we just saw for the first time the other day?
I heard the conversation. So
Oh, my God.
traditional.
Shit, look
This
at
is my
that.
first.
Is that right?
No, my wife's got it prominently displayed in the garage.
It's right under the futon with all the other shit packed on it.
And as I was starting to get salty and fell my way, the lieutenant called me in the office. He said, "Here's your new helmet." I looked at it. It was the yellow helmet that Eric showed you.
Right.
And I said, "What the hell is that?" I thought it was a space helmet. He said, "That's your."
We did too.
Yeah.
And it was my class and the class before me.
man, one
That was the first. You guys were the first class to get that.
And we stood out like store thumbs on the Fireground on the apparatus.
Ah, that sucks.
Holy
Yep.
shit!
Oh,
So there
go
was
the
no
heck up.
saying you're no trying to deceive anybody. You had a little bit of salt in you because
They're already asking in the chat, do you know someone named Frank Rizzo? I don't know if that's a joke or not.
no, Frank Rizzo was the mayor of Philadelphia, and he came up through the police department, became police commissioner, and his brother at the time was fire commissioner.
Oh.
Joe
All right.
Rizzo.
I thought it was
they were
like
talking
Frank
about the other-
Rizzo.
Hey, Frank Rizzo from the
R-I-Z-Z-O. Let's go.
Yeah. So you get sworn in on the in April of 73, class 141. I forgot. This is the one thing I've written down here. So you guys suffered 2 line of duties in your last week of probie school.
Crazy.
So
Yeah, we were on our last week getting ready to graduate. As a matter of fact, it might have been Wednesday night. And I wanted to take a break. I went out to hang on a corner with my buds because I had been studying all night. And we saw smoke wafting in the area. And the guys kind of like said, "Let's go take a look." And I said, "No, I'm going to be doing this for real in a couple of days." And they, "Oh yeah, you chase fire engines your whole life, and now you don't want to go see how easy this job is." So we piled in a car. We went a couple of blocks, and it was chaos. It was an ink plant fire, and the back wall blew out and buried a firefighter Malley from Engine 24 and Jackie Walsh from Ladder 5 and killed them.
wow.
And there was like 40, 50 injuries. So
Wow.
I turned the corner and like, what the hell's going on here? And all the buffing I did, I never saw anything like this. And now I'm wondering to myself, what the hell did I say?
Yeah. This is right before you're getting on.
Right before he's graduating.
Yeah, it's scary. Yeah.
How many guys quit the academy right then?
Now, you know what? We all hung in there. The next day, I mean, you know what it's like in probie school. Everybody's busting chops and everything. And we used to gather around the big coffee urn in the morning. But that morning was just somber morning. And instructors were teary-eyed, but they said one thing, said that's the nature of the job that we have. And tomorrow you will still have your final exam. You will still graduate on Friday, and you will still be in a company next week.
Wow.
So,
How did they assign you guys? Did you know where you wanted to go? Did you get to put where you wanted to go? It was just you went where they sent you.
we had what they called training companies at the time, but the union was against it because they kept putting the training companies, some of them were busy, and they kept putting newer firemen in there and bouncing the older guys out that wanted to stay there.
Right.
But this ink fire and union pressure kind of like forced them to do away with the training companies. Ladder 19, where I went, was not a training company, and we got scattered all over the place.
So you're saying that class 141's last official duty, you guys all got detailed to the funeral after Saturday after the graduation?
Yeah, we graduated on Friday. You know, we're supposed to be off, and the instructors, you know, driving home the way this business operates. That tomorrow you're supposed to be off, but you're not.
Right.
And half of us got assigned to the one funeral in South Philly, and half of us got assigned to the other one in Southwest Philly. I went to Mally's in Southwest Philly, and as a matter of fact, rode to the cemetery. I hooked up with a couple FDNY brothers.
Really?
Yep.
Do you remember their names?
No, but I do remember one gave me a little FDNY tie tack.
Really?
Nice.
Cool.
And I'm riding with them. They're saying, like, how many fires did you go to so far? I said, none. I just graduated.
I'm a bop.
Yeah, I'm a bop.
That must have been weird.
Yep.
So you get when did I tell you you're assigned to ladder 19? Your last day of probie school? You knew.
After the graduation ceremony, we get called in the auditorium, and they call your name and your assignment.
So was it a busy? You said it wasn't that busy?
And ladder 19 was a mediocre company, and I was disappointed on two counts. Number one, I wanted to go to an engine company.
Right.
I just wanted to start an engine company, and I wanted to be a little bit busier. But
right.
You go where you go and try and make the best of it.
Was that they probably back in 70, they probably didn't have tower ladders. So what was it? A straight aerial, or they have something different?
Tiller.
Oh yeah,
most
the tiller.
of the ladders in Philly were tillers. We did have some rear mounts and some snorkels, but most of them were tillers, and ladder 19 was a tiller.
So he goes to 19 truck.
Was this now I see this is 73, you're about to go on a run.
Yep.
All right. It was this with that same company?
Yeah, that's ladder 19 was a 1968 Seagrave.
So now you're on, right? And you're literally living the dream. You know, how does it feel now to execute that? Like you know, a minute before you were drafting, and here you are now a firefighter. Like, what's going through your mind?
I was in seventh heaven. I mean, it was my dream job from when I was 2 years old, basically, even though it went dormant for a while, but
right.
It's what I always wanted to do. And I absolutely loved it.
Somebody awoke the sleeping giant in you.
How long did it take you to catch your first job, Chief?
Well, that's a whole other story. I kind of like talk about that in my book, because in ladder 19, which was also a Shanghai house. I don't know if you have them in FDNY.
No.
But Shanghai houses are, if people get in trouble in busy companies, send them far.
Louis knows about that. If you get lifted, if you get lifted somewhere, they send you to a Shanghai house.
Yeah.
Yes. And I had some good firefighters that worked at busy companies that didn't behave all that well and were ladder 19.
Come on.
Huh.
And they broke me in, and they.
So that's a great tool. You have busy guys. Maybe you're not in a busy place, but those guys are there to teach you, impart onto you some of the things that you might not normally get in a middle of the road place, right?
Yes, and they were good mentors. They taught me a lot, but probably my favorite mentor, my first favorite mentor was one of the guys in the engine. Uncle Frank, I used to call him. In Italian, it's sort of a term of endearment to call somebody uncle.
Oh.
And Uncle Frank would always sit with me with the watch box and always give me little pointers and stuff like that. And boy, he was great.
Was he another one of those Italian guys?
Absolutely. Frank.
Louis likes him already.
Yep.
All right, that's it, baby.
So, but I didn't even ask you this, with the Italian last name. Could you make some bats and balls? Could you make the chicken palm? What was your specialty? Did you cook?
I couldn't make anything when I grew
up.
What? You know what they said? What kind of Italian are you? You can't mix cement. You can't lay bricks. You can't cook.
They wanted a concrete. That's for sure.
This is the kind of Italian he is. Hey, Mom!
Yeah. They were about to pull your Italian card, man. Hey, well, you don't deserve that. Give me that back. What do you mean?
Either Italian men are excellent cooks and the cooks of the house, or they let the women handle the whole spiel, right, Lou? So hey, so
he could water a mean cement, though, right, Lou?
Yeah,
and my wife lets me cook now. So
hey,
he learned firehouse.
You're married to an Italian woman too?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Okay. You did the
Come on,
right
he knows-
thing.
He knows what
Look
he's
at that.
doing.
He
knows
did the
how to
right
do
thing.
it.
He
Rodeo,
did the right
come on.
thing.
Yeah,
Of
does
course.
she call it gravy or she call it sauce? What does she call it?
Oh, it's got to be gravy.
Okay.
Matter of fact, she's got to make some tomorrow for my son.
Nice.
Ooh, I can almost smell it from
You
here.
can smell it already.
Yeah, beautiful.
So,
All
what
right.
were you saying about the first job, Chief? You said your first job there. What was
No,
the story with that?
these veterans I had, they kept raising the bar. I mean, we had a job about 2 blocks from the firehouse. Took out the windows, went in there, wrestled the mattress outside. Yeah, I got my first job. No, you didn't, rookie.
That's
It's
not a
gotta
job.
it was handled by 101, so it's not your first job. Then we got another job, 2 engines, 2 ladders. Nope, it's got to be all hands in service on the box. So then they send me on a detail. And that detail is to the fireboat.
No.
Oh, that's because nobody wanted to go
I
there.
was. Lieutenant finds me. He says, "You're detailed today." I said, "We're at Lou." He says, "Boat 3." I said, "What?" So we catch a job, and ladder 19's first day.
Freaking way.
Oh, 19 trucks first, dude. You're detailed.
And I'm chilling Google on it. Yeah, we used to
You responded to the
at
job.
the fireboat. Yeah,
No shit.
and we're chugging. I'm a deckhand when I'm on a fireboat. I know nothing about fireboats. And our job, because it was in the summertime, all the hydrants were shut down, were being opened, and we supplied water. When we got there,
Oh
it was
shit.
black
It's
smoke.
drafted. Mm-hmm.
We supplied water to the entire fireground, and it was white smoke. But here comes all the guys from ladder 19 up on the roof. And
Like, hey, Rob, how you doing over there in the boat? Nice. All right, little buddy.
I got to handle Captain Blood, the rookie. And that handle stuck with me until I got my first job. And that still didn't happen for a while because the next tour, it's a night work. There's like a 6-alarm fire in North Philly. I'm walking the halls, and the lieutenant says me to pick up a fire marshal. They had to activate a backup fire marshal. When I pick up the fire marshal, who later became fire commissioner, we go investigate a car fire. And just as a mirror, box comes in for 22nd of Mars. Ladder 19's first in. And sure enough, heavy fire, all hands in service. I said, "What the hell? I can't catch a." I pounded on the steering wheel. The fire marshal felt bad for me. He drives me to the fireground and leaves me off. And then I realized I didn't have my gear.
Oh
Nice.
my god.
And the chief turns around and he zeroes in on me. Now he thinks I slept through. He doesn't know that I went to get the fire.
Yeah.
He comes over with a full head of steam, ready to kill me. But thank God, Uncle Frank, who's operating 60s pumper,
Your Uncle Frank.
said, Chief. He went to drive the fire marshal. I have his gear here. Uncle Frank was smart enough to put his piece on the apparatus, put my gear on a piece.
That Uncle
So
Frank.
calm down and-
Good man, right?
yeah. But then, like about 2 weeks after that, I made my first fire. It was the first official fire.
Well, they don't sound like they're doing too bad. I mean, that was only a couple of weeks, for God's sakes.
The
It
one that
sounds like
counts,
they're doing
anyway.
something.
Yeah, it's
Well,
the
that was
70s,
like
though, bro.
during our version of the war years. I mean, even the
Yeah.
mediocre companies, the mediocre companies back then were getting like what the real busy companies get now.
Yeah, right.
Yep. Hold on. Let me. Oh, here it is. Frank Castellucci. Of course, he's.
Is he still around, Frank?
Oh yeah,
Is he?
he's
Wow.
still.
How old is he now?
I'd say he's pushing 80.
Oh, good for
Maybe
Frank.
80s, maybe.
Good for him. I love it. Yep.
He's making pasta every Sunday. You know that.
Oh, you know that. bro.
Just a quick thing for the audience. If they seem to be having some weird audio glitch. If you are, shut YouTube off and come back in. That's it. We're fine on our end, right? You guys aren't hearing anything, right? Everybody's
No.
I'm good.
5x5. All right.
Yep.
Good. All right.
Yeah. All right, Chief. Let's scoot over to 1974. Your first fire fatality. You says felt responsible for some reason because you were a search and rescue man in the first in ladder. So run us through that one.
Back then, we only had one pack on the apparatus.
Oh, the Pac-Man, right? They call it.
Pac-Man. I think Eric touched on it.
Yeah.
The Pac-Man, and that's where that term came from. They had one pack on a ladder, and the Pac-Man was the search and rescue, of course. And since Ladder 19 needed a driver, a tiller,man, and a lieutenant, I found myself being the search and rescue firefighter more often than not. And you know that that's the most dangerous job in a ladder company. You're by yourself, and you really don't have a feel for the heat and smoke and all of that stuff. But I could get the pack on and off fast. I could do that much, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing once I got there. But we got there. I did a search of the back bedroom. 24s was the first in engine. They knocked down the fire in the middle room and were making their way to the front. And I did a search of the middle, and I bumped into a wall, and my hand went straight onto the face of the victim. And, I pulled back like that and I yelled, "We got one." And I felt responsible because I was the search and rescue guy, and I felt it was my job. But my two mentors from the ladder company grabbed me right away and said, "No. You got to realize this guy was dead before we even left the station. Don't ever take this job personal." And that was pretty good advice.
Yeah, it's not like you missed him anyway, right? You found him.
Yeah, but you're new, and I only had maybe less than a year in when I had that fire fatality. So,
did you guys all have radios? The guys in the truck, everyone have a radio back then, or no?
Nope, not even the officers. The radio.
Oh, no way.
The officers didn't start getting radios until I was a lieutenant.
Wow. Huh.
Wow.
How did you guys pass information? Was it just kind of like down the chain, down the line? Like if
yelling?
Yelling, obviously. But you know what I mean? Like, was it from man to man down the line? Like if it was a company move or something?
The chief ran around like a madman, running halfway up the steps to say something. "How you guys making out there?" Down out the back. You get the back open up. And then the chiefs were the first to get the radios.
Makes sense, though.
Then they gave them to ladder officers.
Right.
They gave them to the engine officers. And now everybody has a radio.
Yeah.
Yeah. So by the time, the officer says, we got the fire knocked down on the second floor, by the time the chief gets it, all he hears is, we can't get in through the door. What? What are you talking about? It's like that whole telephone thing, right? You can't. By the time it gets down to him, it's something different.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about your first night driving in Ladder 19. You're not on that long, and you're driving already. 6-alarm lumber fire.
We kind of had to because we had so many apparatus. We were driver to Tillerman, and we handled a chemical apparatus. And Engine 60 also had a foam pumper. So the station needed a lot of drivers to Tillerman and everything else. So we had to get qualified kind of fast. And my first night driving, the streets of South Philly are pretty tight. I was a little nervous about it. And I made my first run, which was in a tight area. It was a whole box. It was false. And I got back, and just as I backed in, the engine went. We heard a box come in for a lumberyard fire at 6th and Washington. And then they dispatched the chemical, because the chemical back then was also a air unit. We had a cascade type system for filling air bottles. So the chemical got dispatched. So I pulled the ladder out. As I'm backing in, Engine 60 went on the second alarm. And just as I shut the ladder off, we got dispatched on the third. So my first run was putting the ladders to the roof, putting the main to the roof, a main service, and then putting a ladder pipe in service.
Getting it done on early on in the career. Did they send you guys to like a chauffeur school driving, or was it in-house learning?
It was in-house learning, but you had to go up the academy to get qualified. Okay. So you would go up there, and they would have the obstacle course and everything else where you had to drive.
EVOC course, right? The EVOC course.
Well, they didn't have EVOC back then, but they had the cones. You had a serpentine, and
right.
With the ladder and everything else.
Huh.
Yes.
So you make the move to Engine 24 in 1975. So you got 3 years on the job. You wanted to go to an engine, so you went to an engine, and you said it's a. Oh, look at that guy. Who's that?
That's a kitchen table right there, bro.
Look at that kitchen table. The guy's smoking there at the table. Beautiful.
The guy smoking is Lieutenant Richie Sharp. The guy in the lower right was my mentor at Engine 24, and I had a pretty odd way of meeting him. When I was at Ladder 19, I was the Pac-Man again, and we had back-to-back jobs. 24 was first in on both of them. and he was on the same shift that I was on ladder 19. And me and a fellow from ladder 11 went inside, and we forced the overhead door open. We let 24s in, and then I was looking for my company. They were up on the roof. So I dropped my pack, grabbed an axe, went up on the roof, and my lieutenant says, "Hey, come over here." And I walked straight for him, and I went right into a hole that they cut in the front of the building.
Whoops.
Like all the way through?
Oh, yeah, all the way through. It was in free
No
fall.
shit.
And like the thing that went
Wow.
through my head was the flag draped coffins of the funeral details I was on. And I land right on the head of the guy in the lower right-hand corner.
No shit.
Now I bounce off of him. I felt it was kind of spongy when I hit, and I heard somebody go,
Knocked it to his coconut and
I
No
bounced off
shit.
him towards the fire, which thank God 24s had knocked that fire down, because I would have fell right into the fire.
Yeah, right into the fire, right?
But Captain O'Brien, who's Buggy's officer, thinks the roof is coming down. So he starts ordering evacuation. So they thought I was the roof. So they're all backing out.
guy.
And I bounced off and I landed on my ass. Now my ass is burning. And I jump up, and Captain O'Brien turns his lights around. He sees me. He goes, "Where the hell did you come from?" And I pointed up the hole. The hole. I said, "Up there."
That'd be a scary feeling.
Yeah.
Oh, stop backing on line out. He fell through the goddamn hole in the roof.
Did either one of you get hurt?
Well, yes, Buggy, my mentor, eventual mentor, he gets transported right away. They dragged me out, even though all it was bothering my ass was burning, and they want to send me to the hospital. And I didn't want to go to the hospital because I had some PVCs in my heart, and I didn't want them to pick them up. And the chief came over and says, "No, I said you're going, you're going." It's all right. So I go to the hospital, and who they wheel me in right next to is Buggy. And I look over, and he looks at me and growls at me. And then they wheeled me away into a treatment room. But after I'm done, and they almost put me off because of my heart, but they didn't. After I'm done and I'm walking out, I stopped in the other room and says, "I'm sorry for falling your head, man. I hope you're okay." And he growled, and then he laughed. He says, "You have a hell of a way introducing yourself."
That's the first time you ever had a
they
guy
call,
fall
why
through
they,
the roof.
yeah, why they call him Buggy?
That was his last name, Buggy.
Oh,
Oh,
all right. There you go.
Nice, easy to get his.
That was a
nickname going.
cool reason,
So I'm getting a lot of talk about two incidences. One we'll talk about later on, or if you want to talk about it now, it's fine. But the MOVE organization.
That's 1978. We got that coming up.
It's okay. Good. All right.
Yeah.
All right. We'll get
we're going
to
to talk about the refinery fire, right? That's coming up next.
Right.
That's next. So we're actually we just got to John Buggy, and you transferred to 24, busy single engine in South Philly, and now we're going to go right to because I have this. Look at this. It's all written down for me. Beautiful.
I'm seeing it too.
Responded to the Gulf Refinery fire, which claimed the lives of 8 brothers. Never even knew that. And so 8 guys.
Getting back to Buggy for a second.
Okay.
Transferred to 24s. I'm on the same shift as him. And I walk in, and the kitchen is full. I'm the only outsider that came from outside that station, because we went to the 4th platoon, the D platoon at that time. And real loud, he goes, "Well, if it isn't the airborne firefighter that almost broke my friggin' neck." And everybody turns around. I felt like this big. But then he called me, patted on a bench next to me, and he became next to Uncle Frank, one of my favorite mentors. And I learned a lot from that guy.
You didn't get a nickname for that, Chief? Then you come up with something?
Well, I had a couple different nicknames. But
I mean,
man.
They used to call me Bongo because I was always banging on the table, playing the drums with my hands.
Chief, you know what I wanted to ask you? How did you fell straight through the hole? Like you didn't have, there was no way to grab anything. What'd you do, this way, or was it straight down, head first? What'd you do?
They cut a classic 4x4 hole, and I just stepped right into it. Didn't even have a chance to put my arms out.
Straight down, right? I got you.
Yep.
Right now. Yep.
Going to the basement roof. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right up there with the Tiger.
I don't know if we can compare. Listen, falling through the hole is tough, but getting mauled by a tiger. I don't think I've heard anything yet close to getting mauled by a tiger. I'm sorry.
Mauled by a tiger.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the Gulf fire, we were there in the morning. I mean, it wasn't our platoon that caught the fire. It was we relieved on the fire ground.
Uh-huh.
But our master stream device had a very good position, and it was off a yard hydrant. And they determined that they don't need us, and they decided to send us back to our station. We ran from our station all day, and we caught a vacant dwelling fire that afternoon. And when the fire was in the basement, and I was about to climb out of the basement. Buggy, who used to call me a mope, so that was one of my nicknames, called me and another guy who's two mopes to train. As we're coming out of the basement, he says, "You lost the tip to the booster line, you mope." And I looked down, it was right there. I picked it up, and the next thing I know, he's grabbing the back of my coat and yanking me out. And I said, "What the hell, Bug? What's going on here?" I thought the building was coming down. He said, "We got to go back. The place just flashed." And we flew up Point Breeze Avenue, and we were the first ones to get back into the fire scene after the flash. And guys were missing, and it was utter chaos. The command structure had been decimated. And we had no 3.5 because it was all there. We didn't have 5-inch back then. We had 3.5 and 2.5. We had no 3.5 because it was all left there that morning. My mentor, Buggy, had put together a game plan. As if we get anything big, we could use our 2.5 and a nozzle we used to call the New York hose pipe. And we went in service with that, protect the tank. And boy, our stream was just about making it, and it was steaming off the tank, and it was scary. When a chief came by and he saw us, and we're up to our waist in foam, and he said, "Get the fuck out of there now." And what had happened at the fire scene is all day they were pouring foam on this fire. And underneath that foam was a layer of oil. And foam pumper 133, which was pumping foam onto the fire, they broke the foam blanket, and the hot exhaust ignited the fire.
The vapor, right.
And initially, there was only like 3 or 4 firefighters trapped, but everybody else ran in out of rehab. And we wound up losing 8 people.
That's incredible.
Right away, and 2 lingered for about a week or so.
Peter, you got that picture again? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, first and foremost, you could probably feel the heat right from where that photographer was standing, right? I mean, that's what I mean. It's hard to see because it's an older photo. Let me see if I can do a little work on it while we're talking. But it is really one of the most incredible fires I've ever seen.
Chief, how long were they operating there? They were there for hours then before this happened, obviously, right? I don't know much about the story.
The fire came in about 6 o'clock in the morning, and they were there all day. And we were waiting for them to call us to come and get our hose back. We thought the fire would have been out when we caught the vacant dwelling fire.
And was it all guys from all different companies? Was it one main company? Was it 2 companies?
Well, they were from 2 from Ladder 27, 1 from Ladder 19, which was a good friend of mine, Ralph at Campana. 1 from 49s, guys from companies at the far ends of the city that just happened to be there because the fire was so big.
That's
jeez.
I don't really remember too much about this job, to be honest.
It was August 17th, 1975, and
75. You were a baby, Ruffy.
No, but I'm saying even after talking about, I mean, we went through hazmat school and all that stuff. I don't ever remember hearing much. I mean, with all these guys that passed away, that doesn't seem like.
Chief, you know what I want to mention? I saw somewhere that you, or Ruffy might have told me too, that you kept a journal your entire career.
Yes, the very first day of fire school, when they were screaming and yelling at us and calling us names and tell us the bunch of misfits we were, I thought it was interesting, and I went back and I decided to document it, and I just kept documenting, and eventually which led to me publishing a book.
So would you take marks like writing that journal every tour or once a month, or?
I tried to hit it every day, and sometimes I wrote stories. Sometimes I just put a couple runs in there. It depends, it depends what was going on. But I pretty much kept the journal up to date. It became easier when I was an officer because I had the office.
Right.
Because you were a fireman, guys are going to break their balls. You see you're writing on a book in the locker room or something. But yeah, I kept that throughout my career.
So out of 37 years, how many journals did you fill up?
There was a lot of them.
Yeah, no doubt, right?
And
you still have them all?
For the most part. There were some things in those journals that I didn't want anybody to see.
Yeah.
So that's.
Do you ever go back and read them to yourself? Sit there and read them? And
I never really did until I wrote the book, and I had to go back for reference.
Pete, let's put the book up before.
I wish I would have done that. Actually,
I know, right?
I forgot so much.
I told you I started doing it, and the guys found it and they threw it in the garbage.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yep.
I wouldn't have made it. Not 2 weeks. Not 2 weeks in the firehouse.
Yeah, man. They thought I was writing stuff about them or reporting on them or spying on them. They threw it in the garbage.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
It's over 400 pages, and I'll tell you what, I did away with about 200 pages to get it down to 400 pages.
wow.
It took me 5 years to do, even with the journal.
And they find that you can find that on Amazon, right?
Yes, on Amazon.com.
That's a firefighter's journal for everyone who's listening by Robert John Marchisello. Check it out.
What's that last name again, Pete?
Marchisello.
No,
You got it exactly right.
All right, Rocco! All right, so what makes you decide to take a transfer to engine 10 if you're rocking and rolling in 24?
24s, I think Eric touched on us the other night, staff the medic unit. At the time, we called them rescues. And it wasn't exactly what Gage and DeSoto made it out to be, an emergency. You know what I mean? And
you date yourself. Half the guys don't know what you're talking about, but go ahead.
That really got old. And I found that as guys at that station had a high turnover rate because of that. The guys loved the fires, but that rescue wore people out. Yeah. And we had a very high turnover rate, and eventually caught me because they were starting to draft people for EMT school. When I drove the rescue, I was a nerd, non-EMT rescue driver.
Okay? Nice.
Like that acronym. Yeah.
Maybe in more ways than one. I don't know.
Yeah, you might say if you had a pocket protector. I don't know.
And I wanted to go to a station that was close to 24s, but didn't have a medic unit. And I did an engine 10 fit that bill.
So you went to engine 10 in 77.
Yes.
Let me see what you got here. It's a new experience. It's a TAC unit. Pumper combination. Explain that to me, Chief.
Philly back in the day ran two-piece companies, a pumper and a wagon. When I got on, they were still running them, but they did away with that in 70, towards the end of 73, maybe early 74. And because of some of the tight streets, the department went to a concept called a TAC pumper. And a TAC pumper was a 250 gallon per minute small pumper with a ladder and hose line and everything else. And it served as the wagon. It went right to the fire. And then you had engine 10, which usually went to the hydrant and supplied the TAC unit. So you got your small piece right in front of the house with all your hose. It got up on side streets, the small streets, and you get really close to the fire. And boy, them things were fast. We used to beat a lot of companies in.
I was going to say, how'd that work out? It was good. It was logistically, it was good. It worked out.
We loved it. The reason they did away with it was the staffing, because we had 3 on the TAC and 3 on the engine. And also, that was the busy time in the fire department. So if you got an automobile or rubbish or something like that, the officer and 2 firefighters would go on the TAC, and the other 3 firefighters would stay on the engine, available to respond to anything else.
Nice.
So you had to dual cover.
So you would actually stretch off the piece that sat in front of the building, right?
Or we'd lay on the fly. We'd take a wrap around a hydrant if we can. Lay on the fly, and then the pumper would come in behind us and they'd supply us. We had a small 200-gallon tank.
Pete, see if you can find that somewhere. Philly TAC units.
Chief, did you send us one of those pictures of that rig or no?
No.
I don't know if I did or I didn't, but there's a picture of it in my book. If you could zoom in,
Wagon pumper. That's cool. I've never heard of that. You, Ruffy?
No, I
I don't
never
know if you
did.
can see it.
Pete, can you zoom that?
Oh yeah, it looks like a little rig there.
It's down there.
You know, let me see if I can pull that up. Hold on a sec here. There you go. Now we're seeing it, but hold on. I think I got it.
You got it?
I do have it. I have it. Hold on.
That's why Pete is the crack producer, not the producer on crack. He's the crack producer.
I like the crack. It's the stuff that I need.
Crack is whack.
Hold on. I got this thing. I got it. I just got to get it out of this, wherever it is. Oh, there it is. For crying out loud. There it is. Okay. Give me a sec, boys, and it'll be up. I got it.
Look at all these things we're learning.
All right. And yeah, you guys said it was, you said it was a 200 gallon. Is this it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Wow, I like that rig.
What is it?
Back 13 with engine 13.
That's got a ladder and everything.
Yeah, you get them right up the small streets. You get right to the fire, and
I'm about to say it's very nimble. It's a very nimble, like in between.
Like a Honda Civic.
Right. It's the Honda Civic of fire trucks. So that's where you would stretch your attack line from, or is that where?
It had a cross lay of inch and three. Well, at that time, inch and three quarter. I had two cross lays, and I had enough 2.5 so you could take a wrap.
Wow. And what the other piece look like, Pete? Can you find the other piece?
It was a standard 1,000-gallon per minute pumper, which we were using.
It's an
time.
engine. Cool.
Yeah.
So 2 guys would go in this thing, right?
3, the officer and 2.
3 guys?
Driver.
What is he sitting on your lap or something? Where's he sitting in that thing?
The tip man sat either by the window or in the center, depending who your officer was. And then you had the driver, and then
That's a little weird.
Yeah, you had the
Like a bench seat almost.
Yeah, it was a bench.
Hold on a sec. Sorry about that. I have the other engine, I guess. Here, hold on a sec. Some on my gun. There it is. Is this it? That's the other one, right?
No, that's a foam pumper.
Okay, never mind.
All right.
I almost did. I almost did.
Your mom and dad in that picture, Chief?
I got it.
That was my mother and Mayor Rizzo that somebody was talking about.
Oh, Frank Rizzo.
All right, ZZO. Jackass.
Look at that mustache, man. That's like a 70s porn star mustache there. Bow chicka wow wow. Look at that.
I was hurt at work today.
Nice.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's a promotion ceremony in 78.
Unbelievable.
That's when you get promoted to lieutenant?
Yes.
Nice. That's where we're at,
good.
actually.
Yes. No, we're not there yet. We're at
getting close.
10. Yeah. Look at that. I learned something. That little thing, you must have gotten there quick, huh? You must have beat the pants.
Sometimes we were fourth due and we beat everybody there.
Woo, man.
I got to tell you.
People off, but we got the fire.
You know who needs that?
Skinny ass streets, right?
You know who needs that? 290.
90.
90. That's definitely the faster you go, the smaller the rig gets. Or
I like the little push bar in the front, right? You see the little thing, just punch it over.
Yeah, man.
Lucky 13 up front, ready to shove people out of the way. I love it. And
actually,
it must have helped in those small Philly streets, right? Everything's pretty tight, no?
Oh, absolutely. There was 3 versions of those back pumpers. That's one of them. And another one had like a phone booth in the back, and that's where the tip man rode. It was weird. It was like right behind the officer. It looked like a phone.
Yeah. I like
That's
it.
pretty cool.
Imagine if you had that today. Somebody's got to have one of those restored today, definitely.
Oh, definitely.
I think there are a couple out there.
It's almost like a pickup on steroids with the ladder on the back. It's unbelievable for the people who are listening to this.
Man.
Definitely come check us out.
You know what's more scary, bro? That neighborhood right there is pretty scary.
I think that's a training. That's got to be training ground, right? No,
that's a vacant. That's
a vacant. Oh my god, it is oh my god, it is
training ground. Yeah, training ground.
Training facility. I thought it looked like the Rock.
Facility.
It looked like the burn building at the Rock. I'm not
kidding.
Oh
yeah, that's the 70s version of the Rock, bro.
I was doing it, Steven.
I was doing it. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, Darren Phillips says he has a modern day version of that truck up in Canada. Yeah, man.
No shit.
Yeah.
Brush
Nice.
truck. It's like a brush thing, man. Looks
Yeah.
like.
Oh, the brush
So
truck's
cool.
got the big tires, though, man. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
that. I'm gonna do more research on that. I love that. All right, so we go. You go and you want to get made lieutenant. I don't know why these guys want to study. I don't know what's wrong with being a fireman, but you go, and you wind up number 10 on the list. Like we said in the beginning, he likes to score high and get on that list low.
Yeah, I just got lucky, and
Well, it might have been more than lucky because you went all the way up the chain there, fella. So you had more than one lucky day. We might be able to say that about Ruffy, one lucky day.
when I was at 24s, there was 3 of us that really studied hard. I mean, we knew everything from every box number that we went on to you name it. We knew it.
All right, so you take the test 77, finish number 10. You get promoted in 78 and assigned to what is Center City? Where is that? Oh, look at that guy.
It's the high-rise district of Philadelphia, basically. And
so that must have been new to you, no?
it was definitely a culture shock for me because all of my experience up to that point was 2, 3 stories, row homes, some factories and stuff like that. But here we are in high rise, sub basements.
Oh, Louis loves those.
Oh.
Louis loves those, man.
Subcella.
So you went from
If
the
you like going down the triple sub cellars, right? For fires, you like that, right?
He's like, oh no.
Oh, no.
Nobody likes the triple sub seller.
Yeah.
I think we got to put it down a shirt, bro. No sub sellers.
No sub cellar.
So you went from the G Hedo to the big city over there. Basically, is what you say.
Pretty much.
Ghetto firefighter to the big city, right? So what is that? It was a squirt company.
Yeah, Philly was big into the squirts, and we were the senior squirt because 43s was the first to get it, and we went to all the big fires. It was one of the good things about being there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they'd have your water supply waiting for you and everything else. And it was good. It was a lot of experience, but it was a relatively new toy for a lot of the chiefs too. And there's times you go in that fire ground, they move you 3 or 4 times because the battalion chief will place you here, and then the deputy chief didn't like where the battalion chief put you. So unhook everything, put you over here. And then the assistant chief gets in. He don't like where the deputy chief, and you're moving again.
So they didn't know what the hell to do with you, basically. Yeah.
I got a little street smart after a while when the chief came up to me at one fire. He said, "Who the F told you to put the squirt there?" I said, "The commissioner." He went, "Which way did it go?" I said, "That way." He went that way.
Sheesh.
That's
So
good.
you
I like
had
that.
some you had it looks like you have a whole bunch of mentors there. So if you want to throw them out there.
Hey, Captain Ruff. Look at that.
Oh, well, there's one big discrepancy there. It would be Lieutenant Ruff. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
No,
Lieutenant Ruff.
one good Saturday. Go ahead.
I always had mentors, and one interesting thing at 43s is I had just about 5 years on when I made lieutenant, and a guy that I considered pretty much a mentor was one of the firemen in my company. He had 17 years in, and even though I was the leader, it's like having a senior non-com in a military unit. You know what I mean? And I relied on that guy, and I learned a lot from him. His name was Ed Riley. And,
Nice. Yeah. So a guy who is literally christened by fire, someone who knew the ropes inside and out from being boots on the ground, is what you're saying. Yeah. Nice.
So you said he was a senior firefighter there, Ed Riley.
Yeah.
Oh, what? You actually took advice from an Irishman, not another Italian, or what?
After being in the fire department so long, I felt part Irish.
No doubt about that.
Yeah, right.
No doubt.
Yep. Yeah. All right, so let's get to the part where everybody's been asking us. Let's talk about the move shootout, Chief. Give us in your words
crazy.
all about the move shootout.
This is the first one. This is the first one.
Yeah.
This is 1978.
Right. There was 2 move incidents, and a lot of people overlooked the first one. And the first one is what really set the framework for the second one. The first one in 78 was in Palatine Village. They had a compound, and our job was to assist the police. And they were going to they were going to try to flood them out of there. They had a huge water cannon there. We called the giant deluge gun. They had companies setting up outside streams, and they were all holed up in the basement. And I happened to be standing next to the assistant chief, who Ed Riley was a backup aide to. And the assistant chief had one of the ladders going there to cut a square hole in the floor. And the plan was to put an engine company in there to flood the basement from the inside. And being a young, aggressive officer, I said, "Hey, I'll take that, Chief." And he went, "Okay, you got it." And we were inside the compound. And other firefighters, like you see in that picture, were kind of like outside, huddled behind police SWAT team barricades and stuff like that. And the original plan was to flood them out with water. And as I was huddled next to the hole with Ed Riley and another fellow named Bob Smith, I heard a police officer behind me say, "Drop that carbine, drop that carbine." And he saw somebody down there with a carbine. And then I heard pop, 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 pop. And it was 6 shots in rapid succession. Right underneath of us, I smelled the gunpowder and everything. And then all hell broke loose. There's gunfire everywhere. We backed up into a corner and we were huddled, the 3 of us. We had the presence to shut the nozzle down and everything. We backed into a corner. And they were shooting. They start shooting through the floorboards where we were.
Jesus Christ.
They shot a few police officers. They killed one, Officer James Ramp. And it was ironic because before I volunteered to go inside, I was standing right next to Ramp.
Wow.
So being inside was actually a saving grace as opposed to being outside. And eventually they lobbed tear gas in her and it forced us out. And I had to make a command decision. Does a leader be the first one to lead the way, or is he the last one off a sinking ship? And I decided to lead the way. And I jumped out the window onto Pearl Street. Bob Smith came behind me and Riley came after him. Everybody was out. And we ran down Pearl Street and we looked back and there Riley was still laying on the ground. I thought he got shot. So we had to run back down to get him. Now there's still gunfire going on while we're doing this.
Jeez.
So we run back down, we grab him by the 2 arms and we drag him down. And we get him behind a step and I'm feeling, "Where were you shot? Where were you shot?" And he goes, "I wasn't shot." He said, "I broke my ankle. How high did you make me jump from, Lou?" But that was it. And one of my other guys got shot. I had a paramedic from Medic 7 was in my station, Bob Sneed. A police officer went down. Bob Sneed went over and grabbed the police officer, pulled him to safety, and as he was doing so, took buckshot in the face like that, shook it off, and pulled the cop to safety.
Wow. Tough guy.
How many people were in there, Chief? Like, what was it? Give me a little bit of
I don't
history. I don't know
how did it
everything
happen
that's
or
going on.
why did it happen or what were they doing there?
Well, they were pretty much what the neighbors considered to be a nuisance. And the city tried all different kinds of ways of getting them out of there. They tried to siege, deprive them of food and water, and nothing was working and they weren't leaving. And
How many people?
I'd say maybe a dozen or 2 dozen. It was a lot then. And a lot of them were kids too.
So these people were into anarcho primitivism, okay, which meant like if they plopped down somewhere, then that's their place, and you can't tell them to leave, no matter
Like
what.
squatters, basically. They were.
Basically,
Back to nature. I don't know if they were squatting in that building or if they owned it, to be honest with you. But their whole concept was back to nature, and they really didn't want to follow the rules of society.
yeah, no societal. It's like those people that you see. They get in those videos. You get pulled over, and they're like, "Oh, I'm a free citizen of the world. You can't. Your laws don't apply to me, man." And then the cop beats the shit out of them. You know, pulling them out of the car.
Rightfully
That's
so.
Rightfully so. So that's exactly what these people were doing. It's
What was
scarier,
scarier, Chief? Running into a burning building or getting shot at?
Oh yeah.
I had such scary things in burning buildings, but this one was completely unknown to me. You know, especially when they were shooting through the floorboards, because now we're trying to be extremely still so they don't realize where we were.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what
Yeah,
that was
move.
like. How scared you had to be there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And they were shooting carbines at you. You said so.
They had a
They
lot
were
of-
heavily armed then. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a lot of weapons there. They really did.
How'd they
Like-
eventually get them all out? What'd they do? Just the tear gas and the
Eventually, when the shooting subsided, a lot of police officers went in, and some of them started to surrender, and it kind of like fell apart from their perspective.
Right.
Mm.
Right.
You think that would happen today like that, Chief? Like you think they would have firemen going in there like that? Like that that would never happen like that.
No,
You wouldn't think.
and no, our commissioner Bill Richmond on the second move incident, that was always in the back of his mind. He had 5 firemen injured on that job, and he didn't want to have any firemen injured on that second move incident. And that fire got way out of control.
Yeah, I could never see that happening at a job where we're going in there to, do some stupid ass shit like that when guys have guns. I don't think so.
Yeah.
huh?
And those guys were right there behind the cops, like laying on the floor in that picture, right?
I'd be like, yeah, Lou, I don't think we belong here. Maybe we should
Yes.
find a rig or
Fuck
something.
that.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
I know Roofy wouldn't have the guys. He'd be like, wrap it up, roll it up, let's go.
Fuck that.
And the
He was
chief,
there for a couple hours before that happened, and an air of complacency got over the whole situation. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
yeah, I think if a chief told them, there'd be some finger pointing going on, right, Roofy, in the chest. I don't know.
Where are the cops? Where are the cops?
Got the cop in there. This look like a gun? It's a hose. I don't know what you're thinking here, bro.
Oh my God.
Shit.
Such a crazy time.
All right,
Such
so
a
you get
crazy time.
ordered into research and planning as a staff job. So you hated leaving the field, but you feel that the experience was invaluable. So that at that time they had some layoffs going on. You feel like that kind of got you.
Well, I had gotten a degree in engineering as a backup plan because of my heart issues, and they found out about it and decided to put me in the research and planning unit, and I did not want to be there. But then we had the layoffs in 1980, and they asked me to write. At that time, I was assistant apparatus officer. They asked me to write up my job description, and I typed out "take apparatus count in morning." Period. So I knew my job was being eliminated, and back to 24s I went. This time, not working the medic unit.
You went back as a lieutenant. So you're like this. Hey, you're riding the medic tonight. How do you like that? Me? No, I'm a lieutenant. I don't ride the medic.
That was a
like
pain in the ass,
Push,
too.
push
It
hard,
happened
push
really
fast, and allow for full chest recoil.
Yeah, lub dub.
Having been there, I hated to put guys in the medic unit in the last minute, and you had to do that if people went off sick or whatever,
Right, but what you hated less is that it wasn't you, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh,
then-
yeah.
Yeah, so he goes back to 24. Now they're rocking and rolling, right? Back in 24.
Yeah, and when I was there in 75, we led the city in fire fatalities. We had 25 first-in fire fatalities. 3 of them on one of my first nights at Tipping. And then my first day back, boom, that afternoon we had 3 dead kids. About 2
Oh,
blocks
shit.
from our house. Yeah. So got right back into the swing of things right away after being in a staff unit.
Well, before that, you were in the high rises, and you were back to the ghetto, and boom, you're getting fuego right away, right?
Yep. And it was a very interesting 3 years over there at 24s. I loved it. Yeah.
Is that where we just had Eric on? Is that the one they made into a squad, or was it no?
No, 47s is one they made into a squad.
47. He left 24 to go to 47 because they knew it was becoming a squad. Gotcha. There we go. Yeah. Let's talk about. Well, you said you had another mentor, Captain Charlie O'Mahony, another Irishman. Holy
Oh,
shit!
yeah.
Oh,
He was-
Mahoney.
Whoa, for fuck's sake! So he had Charlie O's principles. You want to tell us about Charlie O's principles?
That's my salty tip of the day.
Oh, all right.
All right, we'll get to that.
I'll put 4 later. Here we go.
Yes.
We gotta,
right.
just to do a quick time check. We're at 9:20 now, so we gotta move them along a little bit there. Kev.
All right, but
We're still at 75, Coob. You know what I mean?
No, we're in 82. So
All right.
all right.
I'm trying to make a joke. It's trying to make a little
And make a joke.
I got to hear this one story though. You got to tell me about the man screaming as he burned to death in a house fire. I got to hear.
Oh
this
my
one.
God.
And I was at 24s, and one of my first captains said to me, he said, the ones that are dead are bad enough, but he said it's the ones that are dying will bother you the most. And that was the first time I actually heard somebody screaming to death in a fire. And I used that story in the prologue of my book because that really bothered me. I had nightmares about that for a while.
I'll bet you would. Yeah, no doubt.
So you think about how many people you saw burned, right? Holy mackerel.
I never actually heard one of them burning to death. I mean, I've seen the aftermath. I've seen, I saw an infant, which is always in my mind, but to hear that's got to be a whole new ball of wax there, man. To hear somebody burning to death. I'll bet you that kept you up a few nights, huh?
Absolutely. I mean, I stopped having them nightmares maybe about 5 years before I retired.
Huh.
It bothered me. I would get the same recurring dream over and over again.
That's a long time, man, to be dreaming about that. What do you think allowed you to just push past that? You just
Scotch.
I don't know. I stopped the number of fire fatalities that I had at 50.
Uh-huh.
And I guess I just got inured to
right. Maybe you found a place to file it, put it in the old filing cabinet, and yeah. So we're not talking about O'Mahony, right?
Yeah, Charlie O was my captain. He was a great mentor at 24s, and officers get rotated in Philadelphia, at least back then, every 3 years. So Charlie gets rotated to very busy engine 68 in Southwest Philly, and he knew I was coming up for rotation the next year, and there was an opening in ladder 13 across the floor from him, and he got me to go to ladder 13 to work with him, which was really great.
That's great. So he's in the engine. You met this in the engine. You're in the truck, back in the truck again.
Yes.
And then you got the officer up. You got your time came up in the barrel area. You got transferred on the officer rotation to engine 41 in West Philly.
Yes, 41s was first into my house, but a good active engine company. They were doing a pilot of the first responder program when I got there, doing the medical runs. And that was an eye-opener because my first run was a block from the firehouse. Somebody shot in the heart. And it happened to be a neighbor of one of the firefighters that's driving my apparatus.
Oh, shit.
As we're pulling up, I'm saying on location, starting into the house. I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
You knew the guy.
That sucks.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to fast forward to 5 of 85 with this. You're lucky enough to be in on the second move compound.
Lucky enough not to be.
Move compound complete with a bunker on the roof, relocated 41's first alarm district.
So let's set the scene, right? So these move nuts they've occupied like a city block at this point. And the PD does what? What do they fly in there?
Well, they had to be politically correct, and then they allowed them to build a bunker on the roof. And fortunately, I went off shift the morning of the incident. So that night they surrounded it. I'm a 41s. We were like second or third in on the box of that place. And then we could hear automatic weapons fire and everything else, but I went off duty at 8 o'clock. Yeah, I go off duty at 8 o'clock, and that night is when the infamous bombing incident occurred. They tried to blow the bunker off the roof with a state police helicopter, dropped a bomb, and it hit a gas can on the roof.
Shit.
This fire took off. And
Come on, are you kidding me?
Wait a minute,
I've
they
never heard
tried
any of this story.
What happened to political? They tried to drop a bomb on them on the roof.
They wanted to try to blow the bunker off the roof. They didn't realize that this gasoline can was there. So they dropped this C4 explosive. You could see it.
And it lit the thing off?
Oh, yeah.
What type of building was it? Factory? What was it?
Houses.
It was just a private dwelling, or what was it? Was it a factory? Oh, private dwelling.
Private dwellings.
They had a bunker on the top of the roof, and the PD comes in and says, "This is a good idea. Let's drop some C4 out of the helicopter and try to blow the bunker."
That was like Plan Z. They,
Right.
I was to try and drive them out with water.
Yeah, this wasn't A. This was like
Yeah.
we're out of ideas. We're just going to drop
Yeah.
some plastic explosive.
Right,
Don't worry
right.
about this.
I
It's not a little gopher or anything. Don't worry.
And I was like 4 or 5 o'clock that afternoon. I was at the Little League game with my kids, and I looked up and seen this big column of smoke.
No
Like,
shit.
that can't be good.
Is that the same building they were in last time?
No, this was a
Different
whole
building.
new
They like to
neighborhood.
move around.
They were politically correct in 1985.
They were trying.
They were trying, right?
Christ. Imagine what they would do today. Holy shit.
Well,
Yeah.
they would let them take over the entire country and then burn it down.
Easy, Pete. I didn't want to light the flag.
Yeah, open the door.
That's what they did.
They
What?
might call it chopped and then give them the whole
Chop.
18
Yeah.
city blocks. You know.
Well, I'll tell you what. I
Summer of
actually.
love.
Oh, I'm going to get water. I'll be back.
I walked.
Where you
I-
going?
I walked through Chaz, New York City Chaz. I saw
You
it.
did?
I did. I was
Oh,
going.
God bless you.
I was going to get my press pass at City Hall, and I had to walk through that disaster area, and it was
Oh,
man. Every horrific thing that you could possibly imagine.
good stuff. So this was the 1985 version of Chopped.
I wish
from
they would have.
Chaz.
I wish they would have bombed Chaz this
Oh,
year.
they can't do that. No.
They should have.
I think it's a great idea. Just throw
Yep.
some sticks of dynamite at it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, let us
Fine.
do it. We'll just do it for nothing.
Yeah.
What?
All right,
You
let's get off that. We're gonna get the man gets promoted to captain in '85, and he filled in for 3 weeks before being assigned to Engine 49, and again South Philly. That was the slowest company you ever worked in.
Yeah, it was, and I was disappointed. But you know what? It's easy to be an officer in a busy company. It's more challenging to be an officer in a slower company. If you get my drift.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Busy company, you want to it tracks. In a slower company, you're getting people that want to slow it down and that sort of thing. But I had pretty good guys that came from 68s and 24s and stuff like that. And I was lucky, but across the 4 platoons, it was some challenging at times. But I learned a lot.
But that's when you got first introduced into hazmat, right?
Yeah. I was trained as an acting battalion chief when I was at 49s. That's what they do in Philly. They might do that in New York too. When you make captain, after you have about a year in or so, they train you to be an acting battalion chief to fill in for your chief if he's off. And since Battalion 1 was also part of the hazmat team, the chief would
Pete.
he would detail me to Engine 60 or Ladder 19, which was the hazmat team, to get my experience and get qualified so I could work Battalion 1 and also serve as the hazmat branch officer at a hazmat incident.
So you get your feet wet. A lot of guys don't know he was a big hazmat guy, right, Chief? So we'll get into that later. You get transferred, and the officer rotation. Holy mackerel! They got you to go to Engine 65. That was a busy West Philly single engine company, though, right?
Yes, it was a single engine squirt company, very busy. Well, if there was a fire in West Philly or Southwest Philly, they were probably on it. They had a small but active first in district, kind of like 24s. But boy, just because of where they were located, they made a ton of fires. And I was enjoying the hell out of it. And then my phone rang. And it was my ex-chief, and I was going to hazmat.
So did they have a dedicated hazmat back then? Was it a
No. The way the hazmat was set up in Philadelphia, at the time we had 2 of them. We had each one was an engine, ladder, and we had 2 hazmat pieces, one being a foam pumper and one being an old chemical unit that carried all our gear and stuff. And I was the captain of the engine, which also did engine stuff, kind of like the squads had this dual role. We had the dual role of being hazmat and also being a regular engine company, doing everything that engine companies did. But when a hazmat came in, we were dispatched as a hazmat, and we took the engine and the two hazmat vehicles with us.
do they have a dedicated hazmat now, like a hazmat 1 or a?
The last I heard is they were going in that direction.
What do they do for hazmat then? Same style, same type of thing, an engine in two pieces?
It's well now they have engine 60, ladder 19. They have two huge hazmat trucks. One's a big box truck. Another one is a huge command vehicle with actually a bio level 4 with the gloves and everything that you can stick your hands, bring samples into the truck to examine it. They have robotics on it now. They have a Purple K unit on a small vehicle, something like a tack pumper.
Right. So it's not just designated a hazmat unit, though. They still run on the other stuff.
No, but I heard there's rumors that they want to go in that direction and put a dedicated crew like they have with Squad 288, just a hazmat and hazmat only.
Right. Oh, interesting.
You would think they would have that. Which, I mean, that's a big city, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's a lot of work to know, do all your other firefighting stuff and, do all the hazmat stuff. If you were the only one going to it,
Yeah. Now, what happens if they're out at something? You have a backup company that comes in and fills and takes the hazmat piece?
There was jobs where we had to leave our inch and three quarters and give it to another company, and
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that sucks.
Go back and get the truck, take off.
If it's a legit hazmat run, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be there for a long time too.
And what was worse than that is one time we're going to first in for the ladder, second in for the engine. We see the smoke, and we're told to disregard. Go back and get the hazmats. We got a hazmat for you. But that came with the territory.
They're waving us in.
Yeah,
that's what you say, Chief. They're waving us in.
Yeah. Oh, so you were a chemistry major too, and eventually earned an MS in industrial hygiene. No wonder they wanted you.
Yeah, well, I decided to go back and get my IH degree once I got into hazmat because they kept telling us that if you ever stumped, call an industrial hygienist. So I went through it and took the whole program and realized don't call an industrial hygienist because they really don't know much about street hazmat.
Yeah, so you're saying that it all came about from the oil, from the refinery job, that you think that maybe that's what pushed it in that direction?
When I put our training program together, a lot of it was based on that fire, especially when we talked about how things burn, why they burn, and stuff like that. And I felt that they really assessed that properly. You need three things for combustion of flammable liquids, right? You need vapor production, you need flammable range, you need ignition. And I always knew those terms, but I never put it in that context. And I felt that that's what I wanted to get across in our hazmat program but not only with just flammables, with oxidizers, with radioactives, corrosive. So I spent a lot of time doing that and getting them to understand those terms and definitions.
Right. So that hazmat company, which was an engine company, right? Do they go for the training all around the country like everybody else does? Do they go to the rail car? Do they go to the Alabama? Yeah. So they take all of those classes too?
Now they do, but what we had put together was a 5-week in-house hazmat program before they realized that they could send people to Anniston and other places a lot cheaper. But when we put the squad companies through it, we put them through the entire hazmat program. We gave them everything. That was one of our conditions. If they're going to be hazmat, they're going to be hazmat. We taught them everything.
Now they're trained to the technician level?
Yep.
And what about the guys who are doing the actual hazmat? Are they trained to specialists?
They get the same training. They get the same training. We brought, instead of bringing the hazmat down, we brought the squad companies up to their level.
Right, but they're like Hazmat One in New York, they have also specialists. Do you guys have that as well? Everybody's just a technician.
Everybody's a technician. We never went to that term. We're pro board certified. All of them.
So now, if that engine company's out and you get a hazmat run, the squads can take it in, right? Or
that was great because now we doubled our capabilities with the squad company. So we modeled them right after New York. Our SOC chiefs went up there and talked to Ray Downing and a lot of the other people back in the day. And it was modeled right after the squads in New York. Exactly.
Love it. Love it, Ruffy. Yep. So then now you go in 91, you take the battalion chief examination. And So you get promoted battalion chief, but before that, you said you had a horrendous offensive defensive fire. Right?
The night I took the battalion chief's test, I had
91.
91. One of those jobs, and then that's it right there. When you pulled up, it just looked like a standard road type MOD, and unbeknownst to me, they had polyurethane the floors a few hours before the fire.
Love those.
Yep.
And when they took those windows out, that place just took off. And I had 2 engine companies making their way up the stairs, Engine 10 and Engine 1. And when I saw that place light up, I just said, get the fuck out of there now. And, I wasn't the type of guy that raised my voice or curse much. But when they heard me use that language,
They knew.
They knew you knew business, mean business, right?
And not long after they came out, that place came down.
Wow.
That scared the bejeebies out of me, because then you start thinking about it. What if I wasn't that aggressive to get them out?
Yeah, but you were. You know what I mean?
You had that instinct. You had that feeling, right?
That's kind of like what another one of my mentors, a deputy chief named Richie Sutton, had said. He said, "You'll know when to get them out," and he always impressed that on me. He said, "I can't tell you exactly when to get them out." He said,
Right.
And he said, "Go on your gut, go on your instinct."
Well, you saved 2 companies with your gut, no doubt.
And we keep hearing on this show a recurring theme is these polyurethane floors, man. On all these fires, man. It's like all the time.
Well,
So
that reminds me of 2 things with Ruffy. Ruffy and I had a job one time, right, Ruff? Where they polyurethane the floors. We get there, we get a run. At 8 o'clock at night, we pull up and there's fire blowtorching out the front door. It was me, you, Ayelpi, Petey Brennan, and Belisari and Brian Fahey, right?
Yeah.
And it reminds me of the Chiefs story too. Remember the guy from the truck company fell off the landing and fell right on top of you?
Yeah.
Remember that? So unlike the Chief falling through the roof, the
Chief said he told Belisari that the only thing he saw was that there was 2 windows on the left, 2 windows on the right. There was fire out of all 4 windows and the doorway, and all you saw was our line going into the door, and it was fire coming out the door.
Was it wrapped around
around us, behind us? Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
That was good. Good times. Good times.
Good times, man. Good times.
Good times.
Guy fell on you.
Hey, there was no way to run that time. You couldn't.
Oh,
run.
Remember, you didn't see the fire behind us. I was tapping you on the shoulder, going like this.
Petey wouldn't give me the nozzle. He wouldn't give
you the nozzle. Nope.
Oh my God. Were you Were you all?
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
So I think 291 or one of the engines put the line right in the doorway and
knocked my face piece off my
blew our
face.
shit all over the place.
Jesus,
everything went black and fucking lost our helmets and everything.
It's good stuff. Good times.
Good times. Good times.
All right, so you get promoted battalion chief in '96, assigned to the hazmat staff chief for 3 years. You thought it would suck, but you said you made plenty of hazmat.
That's a reoccurring theme on this show too.
What's
you think
that?
It's going to suck, and you like it.
And you like it, right?
Yeah, I learned a ton about hazmat, doing that job, and meet a lot of hazmats, a lot of different things. Because as opposed to being on shift, I was on call 24/7. So, and I had.
So you would respond to all the hazmat runs then?
Yeah, and I would. My job more or less was the liaison between industry and the incident commander, but because of my background with Hazmat 1, a lot of times I found myself running the incident.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
early on, the chiefs didn't know what the hell to do, right? When it came to hazmat, they would look to you really for answers.
Sometimes, if they weren't micromanagers, they told you, you got it, whatever you want to do.
I mean, even today, a lot of the chiefs, they don't have backgrounds. And I mean, they may have a little bit of training, but for the most part, I mean, when it comes to that,
you're relying on the guys, of course.
Yeah, when it comes to that, when it comes to the ropes, when it comes to any of that specialty stuff, they don't know what. Yeah, they never worked in those companies. They know fire, but they never worked in hazmat or a special ops, company. So a lot of them don't really know what the hell you're doing. They're looking to you for answers, right?
Jeez.
Yeah, man.
Serious business, man. Leading men.
Yep. So in 2000, he transferred to Battalion 1 back to South Philly, which also served as a hazmat branch officer citywide. 7 years there.
Yes, and I loved it because you got to do everything. We had a huge district. We covered. They had closed Battalion 5, so we basically covered the old district, Battalion 1 and Battalion 5. So we had plenty of fires. We had subways, elevated, you name it, high rises, rivers, 2 rivers, bridges, uh, and we did the hazmat stuff. So I mean, you're always busy, and I just loved my time there.
So they were you part of in 2004? You trained up the squads, right, in hazmat. But did they, as they were thinking about putting these companies online and making squads, did they, refer to you at all, or any input on making these squads, or?
Yeah, our meetings that brought on the squad companies were brought on right after 9/11. We saw how special ops in the FDNY was decimated, and we only had a hazmat and a rescue. That was our special ops, and we asked for pie in the sky. We asked for another rescue, another hazmat, and 4 squad companies or something. But we got the 2 squad companies out of it, which it doubled Rescue One's capability if they needed them, and it doubled our capability depending on the type of incident.
Yeah, so we talked to Eric, and he said,
Yeah, that's what Eric was saying.
yeah, and he also said that they were thinking about putting another rescue online. So, I mean, a city as big as Philly, you think they would have at least 2 rescues and, at least a designated hazmat, right? I don't know.
Back in the 50s, they had 4 rescues in the city.
Oh, did they say? There we go.
Well, I think, yeah, in the 40s and 50s, they disbanded them one by one as they started making more medical calls. They were sending the rescues, which the only vehicles that have resuscitators were going on heart attacks. So you send an officer and 5 guys for a heart attack. And the
Yeah, that
good
doesn't
guys
make any
start
sense.
bailing out of the rescues. And they slowly disbanded them and made them the smaller rescues that eventually became the medic units.
Look at that. Another thing we learned
They
tonight.
should make the rescues with that engine. That's what they should do.
Oh, look at you.
I'll sign up for that one.
You will, unless
Fly
it's
through
in
the streets.
unless it's in subcell areas. Then you're
Yeah. Oh no, not that area. I'm not in
Oh,
that area.
yeah. Yep.
I'm out.
Oh shit! Nice place.
I picked up something here.
37 years the guy did, huh? I'm looking
Yeah.
at this. Holy shit, Chief.
37 years, Chief.
I got rocks in my yard younger than you, Chief.
Yeah. So you said you lost one of your students, so Lieutenant Harvey, from the other squad, 72, was battling a row frame home fire. Is that why they were a squad?
Yeah, it was during the training program. Well, they weren't a squad yet. It was during the training.
Oh, goodness gracious. The year?
And, we were doing it like Eric alluded to. We were doing a piecemeal. They were coming up on their day shifts, and which was a tough thing to manage because you're doing a 5-week hazmat course, 2 days at a time, and it extended like about 6 or 7 months. But right in the middle of that, 72's caught a first in-house fire, and Derek went through the floorboards and got stuck there. And
you guys definitely had your share of line of duty deaths. Wow. I mean, I never knew. I mean, I knew that.
He lingered on for days, and when we had a training day, who's up there is his shift of 72s. And he had made a turn for the worse overnight. So I called headquarters and said, if anything happens, call me because I want them to be the first ones to know. And sure enough, the call came that afternoon when they were in the middle of an exam.
Oh, man.
And I had to tell them guys, and I said, forget the exam, take off,
It's terrible. So there you go again. You study again. And in 2007, the deputy chief is the test is calling. And you finished high enough to get promoted and signed to Division 1.
Yeah, well, actually, I didn't study because I didn't want to be a deputy chief.
And lo and behold, look at you.
Everything that I did for that test, I thought about on the subway elevated ride down to the municipal services building. But the deputy chief's position was a little bit too far away from the action. You only go on working all hand fires. I don't know if it's set up the same way in New York. It probably is. So you're never busting out the door like you are with a battalion. And you're one step closer to headquarters. Who wants to be that close to headquarters?
But at least you were in quarters with the squad, right?
That was the fun part because I had trained all of those guys and I knew them really well. And I was quartered with 47s, not on Eric's shift, but on a different shift.
Right.
And boy, them guys were great. You know, we had so much fun. I mean, we'd come back from having dinner in another firehouse. They're hanging from the ceiling on ropes and stuff like that. They were constantly training. Very dedicated, motivated bunch of guys. I mean, the guys that they picked for those squad companies, they really did a good job because every one of them in the beginning was highly motivated.
Yeah, nice.
We had ones that were carpenters, electricians. They were either in the trades. Some were chemistry majors. I'm talking to one guy, he graduated in Annapolis and did years in the Marine Corps. I mean, like,
incredible.
Really good guys. You know,
Gotta love those squad guys, right, Roofy? Gotta love them. Yep.
Highly motivated, truly dedicated. That's
Yep.
it, baby.
Did they look at you? Did the fire look at you?
The fire looked at me. Yeah.
Oh, it did look at you.
So you did that for 3 years. You finished the deputy. Shadow. And after 37 years and 3 months, wow, look at this. 43. That's what I just said to you. A lot of line of duty. 43 Philly firefighters lost their lives during your career.
Holy smokes.
That's a lot.
No
man.
way.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people, man. Holy mackerel. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I mentioned every one of them in the book. I had to.
Of course.
So, but the good, you're right here. After 33 years as being an officer, you never lost one of your own guys, right? Which is it's a blessing, honestly.
That was bothering me towards the end because I'd worry about that. I mean, you can't always blame the chief because things happen. But I just don't know how I would have took it if I lost somebody under my command, whether I made the right or wrong decisions.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
Yep. So thank
Like
God.
the mother hen.
The mother hen. So with that, with all those journals, right? You compiled the book. We talked about the book, Pete. Throw that up there again. So basically, that book is all your journal entries. Do you elaborate on them, or do you?
Well, I went through and I focused on firsts. You know, what was your first run like? First fire, first day of training academy, and stuff like that. First day as an officer. And then a lot of the unusual things that people don't know that firefighters do or get involved in. I tried to get a lot of that. Plus what it was like to be, in a busy engine company during the heyday when there was a lot of fires to go to, when it wasn't uncommon to have, 3 or 4 fires a shift. So,
Back in the day. That's why they call it the Warriors.
Yep.
Right, Chief? Yep. So you didn't have enough there. So in 2010, you begin to work for Delaware County as a hazmat team leader. So you basically just train the guys, or do you?
I actually respond, and I do train them. Although I'm starting to cut back some of the response stuff now, but I train them. Our guys come in once a month. We have guys on the team from paid fire departments in Chester and Upper Darby, plus some county employees.
So you started there in 2010, and you're still there. So you're there a long time already.
Yeah,
Mr.
Yeah.
Two Pension Man.
So I don't get a pension from the county.
All right. And that, as they say, is that. Look at this. All these pages done. I think we're almost at that time too, right?
Chief, as they say on Sheffield Avenue, you done good.
You done good.
Sheffield Avenue. Where is that? Follow the smoke, kid. Follow the smoke, kid.
I think we got a T-shirt for that.
Yeah, eventually.
Coming out.
I think he said. I got a text from him today. He said Wednesday he's delivering it. I'm like,
really?
Wednesday of what month? Like December? When are we getting that one?
Right.
All right. Well,
It's that time.
yeah,
Katie.
what a career. Yeah.
it is that time. And I can't wait to hear. This has got to be good. So, guys, it's time for the old school tip of the day. Take it away, Chief.
I actually have 2 for you. One's a leadership thing, and the other one's a fire thing. The leadership thing is what I refer to as O'Mahony's principle. And O'Mahony, as we mentioned, was one of my mentors and captain I worked with when I was a lieutenant. And Charlie always said that the rules are guidelines. And that means that the rules could be stretched, they could be bent, they could be curved to suit the situation. He said, and always look at that and always take care of your people. And an example of that would be I was at 24s. We just came back from another fire death. And as the doors go up, there's the two guys that drive the rescue hauling away on the bumper. They hit something. So when I got off, took a look at it, and here they hit a bollard in the emergency room, and there's a little yellow paint on the bumper, and the bumper was pushed in a little bit. And according to procedure, you're supposed to notify the chief. You're supposed to put the unit out of service while you do the investigation. And that jeopardizes lives at other places if you do that. And I bent down, I looked at it, and then I walked around the rescue, and there was at least a dozen other dings and dents in the thing that the city never fixed. So I said to the guys, I said, get some compound, take the paint off, and it never happened. Right? So don't get that micro vision, like just look at the dent and say, the procedure says we got to call a chief. Look at the big picture and what's the impact? And the city would have never fixed that then anyway, but I would have had a driver with an accident, a preventable accident on his record, the unit out of service, tons of paperwork to do and everything else. And the other tip is we're taught when we're doing interior firefighting, to whip that stream around, right? But I found that a lot of times on the bigger fires, they get the master streams, they put it in the window, and it just stays there. And I would walk around the fireground. I would say, move that around. You know, whatever you can, don't just leave it stagnant in one spot. And the same thing applied. I mean, if you went into an interior situation and just left your line in one place and whip it around, the fire would take forever to go out. So the same thing kind of applies to an exterior situation. Move that line around a little bit. Don't just get stagnant and leave it where it is. So that's my old timer tips for the
I like it, Chief.
They're getting
Nice.
better and better.
I'm not going to say that maybe I've used the first tip a few times.
Dude,
allegedly.
popped into my head, you know. Yeah, maybe we backed into a Chinese guy's car. I don't know. And we took up. I'm just saying, maybe that happened. Maybe it didn't.
Allegedly.
Ruffy always took care of his guys. He's very good at not breaking the rules, but
I like the stretching part. The stretching,
bend them, but
you got to make this face too when you do that, Chief.
But,
I don't know.
You got to do this one too.
It's gonna be tough. That one might be a little tough, but I could do it. I think I could.
It's got to pain you. It's got to pain you.
Chief, thank you for your years of service, your stories. I'm glad we got you on. Thank you for the book. Guys, go out and get that book. I'm going to get it myself.
Yeah, I'm going to post it up on the description with the video.
Yep. Thanks for all our maniacs in the chat.
So we got two Philly guys. I feel like I'm Phillified now. You know what I mean?
Filled up.
Like
we're filled up on Philly guys. Yeah.
You got room for one more story, a quick one?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Of course.
Absolutely.
When I was Battalion 1, we're first in on the stadium areas, right? And the Phillies were playing the Mets.
I'm not
gonna
Coobs,
like
get ready.
I'm not going to like this. Go ahead.
It was the night that Aaron Rowan ran into a wall and broke his nose, made a great catch that saved the game. The game went a little bit more than 5 innings, was rained out, the Phillies won.
I knew I wasn't going to like it.
I come back to the station, and my phone was ringing. We had a little job in Center City. I'm coming back, the fire phone's ringing. The dispatcher says, Chief, I got a little bit of a different situation for you. He says, the 3rd Police District's calling and said they got a bunch of FDNY firefighters locked up there. We got a little rowdy down the stadium.
Allegedly.
Oh my! I don't believe it. Now I know you're fibbing,
The
Chief.
same thing happened to a bunch of Philly guys at the old Shea Stadium. And they said if the sergeant said if fire chief will come down and vouch for him, we'll let him go. So me and my aide, we went over there right away. And as they're coming out, they start introducing themselves. The first one, Captain so-and-so, Lieutenant so-and-so, Lieutenant so-and-so. They lock up all the officers.
Wasn't a fireman, see?
They were locked up in a little bus. They were in a little bus they had outside.
I freaking love it.
When they came out.
Man, oh man.
See, they did. They
sounds
pulled the
about
tin
right.
now. They pulled the tin out, Ruffy. Hey, we're firemen from New York.
Engine 2 something might have been from Brooklyn. I'm not. Brooklyn guys.
Something. Yeah.
What game did we go to? We went to Baltimore.
Good stuff.
And my face hurts.
I'm going to say two things. Gonzo, call me tomorrow. I need to talk to you, number one. Second thing is Andrew Ielpi. Yes, say hello to your mom. Love her. Yep. And we'll be talking. We're going to get the old man on eventually. That's what I got.
Well, who we got coming up next week? We might have somebody for the biggest 100.
You mean for the 100th episode that's coming up?
Can you imagine people? We have 100 episodes.
We got 100 episodes of people watching us three jackasses.
Yep. And it's going to be a biggie. We told people this, right? Actually, let me post the photo.
Post it up.
The thumbnail. Hold on, I'm going to put it up right now. It's a biggie, ladies and gentlemen. You all know this guy because you've seen him before. You've seen him on one of our programs, and now that the man is
what's on the program, Peter?
And now that he's retired, episode 100, FDNY Chief retired, Thomas J. Richardson. That's next Wednesday.
Chief of department? Oh, that guy, the chief of department. Yep, that fella.
You mean that guy was walking out of there, Rescue 2, that guy? You mean that guy?
Captain of 272, Rescue 2.
Yeah, maybe the saltiest photo we've ever posted. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Could be.
Well, it's going to be Wednesday, though, correct?
Wednesday.
Yes, I'd like to say Ray Steele was in there like on episode number 2 or 3, Ray. That's how long we're going back with me and Ray.
I think we need to maybe have Ray back, though.
We got shit-faced in my living room. Remember me and Ray? We were totally annihilated.
Let's figure out where we can get Ray back. You know what I mean?
I know we can get him back. What we talked about the other day, the Survivors, or whatever that is.
Oh, yeah.
Or the ball breaking where a new guy comes in every 30 seconds.
Oh, my God.
Ray's going to stay to the end.
He might be throwing everybody over the ropes, bro.
No, everybody's going over that rope, the Royal Rumble. Yeah. Oh, shit. That's right. Three
yum-yums.
Yeah, yep, that's right. That's right, Sammy. Jag-offs. That's what we are.
He ain't lying.
Oh, my God. All right. Well.
All right. So, Pete, do it.
All right, guys, ladies and gents, you guys know the deal real quick tonight, okay? Audio, we're on all the players. Find us there. iTunes, Spotify, wherever you hear podcasts, that's where we are. YouTube, if you're here, guys, at youtube.com/Getting Salty Experience, do us a favor. Little quick favor, no big thing. Just hit that like, subscribe, and share button, okay? Do us a favor. Do that. It helps us out tremendously, okay? Instagram, if you're on there, we're at Salty Dog Inc. Lots of great salty fire photos, like, kind of like this one right here. You know what I'm saying? With the chief of department.
Oh, that guy.
Doing serious stuff. GettingSaltyApparel.com, guys. That's where you find the coolest, freshest firefighter gear and apparel. And accessories in the game. Okay. Thank you to everybody who donated in the super chat tonight. That is massive help. You guys keep us rolling. We really appreciate that. Facebook, guys, find us there at Getting Salty Fans. Not created by us, but man, oh Shevitz, it is a great page. It's like a firewire for the globe, and it's 42,000 plus.
Holy mackerel.
Yes. We love that. Keep them coming, boys. Guys, email me, or us rather, at gettingsaltyads, ADS, at gmail.com if you want to advertise with the show. And you could do multiple different types of advertising with us. Hit us up and I'll hit you with my spiel. All right. Getting Salty Experience at gmail.com. That's where you'll email Louie your questions for your Q&As. Email Coobs at coobspodcast@gmail.com for all of the Cup of Joe and Fuego shows. So that's your, and it doesn't have to be your helmet cam footage. Right. Cool that you've seen helmet cam footage, fire photos, rig photos, mustache photos, your recipe, like a picture of what you cooked, what the best recipe you did at the firehouse is. We'd love to see it. All right. So Coop's Podcast.
And we're going to be filming 3 of them because Ruffy and I will be on the road for 2 weeks straight. We'll be doing the show up in Syracuse, the New York State.
And I'll be on my free vacation.
I wasn't gonna say it.
I said I preempted. I preempted
Good
it.
job.
He's
Now you know
learning.
how
He's
to do it.
learning. He's learning.
Then we're gonna be up in Worcester. So we'll be having some pre-recorded shows. So send all that shit over to Coop's podcast.
Yeah. And
haven't got any more
go,
old lady, hottest old ladies. I don't know what's happened. You're drying up on me. And listen,
are you saying
throw
the
it out
hot old
the
ladies
way.
are drying up?
No, I'm not saying that. But listen, you know, for the chicks out there, if you got a picture of your hot old man, send that too. We'll throw it up. I don't care if you think he's hot, whatever. We're not biased here.
That's true.
I'd
That's
rather
true.
get the hot old ladies, but listen, whatever, you know, send it over. Send them all over.
In his banana hammock.
Yeah, in his marble bag. Send it over.
It's got to be an American flag marble bag. We're a patriotic show. Very important.
Yeah.
Very important.
Excellent.
Look at the chief. He's like, all right, wrap it
What
up.
the hell am I
All right, you
doing here?
sons of bitches. What am I doing?
Wrap it up.
He's like, I studied for this. For this.
Yeah, all right, guys.
Oh, Christ.
I love all you guys in the chat. We'll see you soon. We'll see. I don't know if we're doing something on Monday. We'll see what happens. If not, we'll see you on Wednesday for the Big 100 show.
Yeah,
Until
for
then,
sure.
stay low and go. Let's go, Rangers. Here we go.
Chief, you should be very proud of yourself, man. You had a great career.
Yep.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And you did great tonight, Chief. Thank you.
Yep,
for coming
very
on.
good. We'll see you at the big one, everybody.
Cheers, everybody.